What's up, you freaking geniuses? So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to write an equation of a parabola in vertex form by going over this word problem right here. All right, so it just says the graph shows the parabolic path of a piece of dog poop that you threw at your friend's head, where y is the height in feet. All right, so you can see that the y-axis represents the height in feet, and x is the horizontal distance traveled in feet. All right, so this is how far you threw it right there. So it says write an equation of the parabola. The poop lands in your friend's hair 90 feet from where you threw it. What is the height of your friend? Okay, so as you can see, this parabola basically has you standing over here. Okay, this is the poop. You threw the poop. Very nice job. You threw it. It landed 90 feet away at this point right here, right? So then that means your friend over here was standing right there. You hit him right in the head. Okay, incredibly impressive. We just want to figure out where this poop hit your friend in the head. Okay, how do you do that? So the first thing you want to do is write down the quadratic equation in vertex form, which is y is equal to a times x minus h squared plus k, where h and k represent your x and y coordinates of the vertex. Okay, so remember the vertex point on a parabola is just the highest or the lowest point. So here you can see that the parabola opens down, right? So this would be the vertex right there. Okay, so at 50, 35, right? This is our x and our y. So we're going to plug in a 50 right here for h and a 35 right here for k. Okay, and then you can see that we have another point on this parabola, right? It's basically the starting point right here at 0, 15. So since we have another point for the parabola, we can plug that into right here, x and y, because x and y over here just represent any other point on the parabola that's not the vertex. Okay, so for example, this point, right? That's not on the vertex. So 0, 15, right? So we're going to plug in a 0 for x and a 15 for y. All right, so you can see that the only thing we don't have a number for is our a right here. Okay, so we're going to solve for a first, right? That's the first step, just solving for a. So let's plug in our numbers here. So we're going to get that 15 is equal to a times, and in parentheses we have 0, right? We have 0 minus 50. Okay, as you can see here, for our vertex, the x-coordinate is a positive 50, but when you plug it in here inside the parentheses, you have to plug in the opposite sign, so we have to plug in a minus 50, right? That's kind of the only weird part here. And then k or y basically just stays the same, so this is positive 35, so we'll just add 35 at the end, right? So then simplifying this again, we get that 15 is equal to a times, in parentheses, 0 minus 50 is equal to negative 50. So we get negative 50 squared plus 35, right? So then we get that 15 is equal to a, well, let's simplify this. Negative 50 squared is equal to positive 2,500, right? So 2,500 times a is just equal to 2,500 times a, and then we have plus 35 at the end, right? So to solve for a, we just need to isolate it. So let's get rid of this 35 by subtracting 35 from both sides. Those cancel out. So 15 minus 35 is equal to negative 20. So negative 20 is equal to 2,500 a, right? So to solve for a, just divide both sides by 2,500, like that. Okay, those cancel out. So here, negative 20 divided by 2,500, that's equal to negative 0.008. So we get that that's equal to a, all right? Cool, so we just solved for a right there. So now that we know what a is equal to, we're gonna start over one more time and we're going to write an equation of the parabola using a, since we know what a is equal to now, all right? So we're gonna do that by starting with a fresh new quadratic equation in vertex form. So y is equal to a times x minus h squared plus k. All right, so again, now we know what a is equal to, right? Negative 0.08 or 008. So that's what we're going to plug in for a right there. And then the other thing we're going to plug in is this point right here for the vertex, okay? Because this point for the vertex never changes. So we're going to plug it in again right here for h and k, right? This is our x and y coordinates of our vertex. And then x and y we're going to leave alone because that's what can change along this parabola, right? So since we can plug in whatever we want for x and y, we're not going to do anything there right now. And instead, we're just going to plug in the 2 points that we know are not going to change. So again, that's A and our vertex. Okay, so then here we're going to get that y is equal to A, which is negative 0.008. And then in parentheses, x minus h. So again, our x coordinate is 50. So we're going to write that as x minus 50 squared, and then plus our y coordinate, 35. So plus 35 at the end like that. Okay, so this is the equation of the parabola. Okay, and the key point that you want to notice is that x and y are free, right? We don't have any numbers plugged in for x and y right now. And that's good because now we can figure out what this point is right here, right? Where the poop landed in your friend's head. So we don't know where this point is exactly, but from the problem, it says, let's see, it says the poop lands in your friend's hair 90 feet from where you threw it. Okay, so if this is where you threw it at 0, then that means where it hit him over here is 90 feet. Okay, so for this coordinate point, we don't know what the y coordinate is, but we do know what the x coordinate is, right? So it's at 90 feet, right? Because starting from here, we go over 90 and then up who knows how much, right? So we don't know what our y coordinate is. But again, we do know what the x coordinate is, 90, so we can plug in a 90 into our x coordinate right here, and then we can figure out what the y coordinate is going to be by plugging it in. Okay, so to solve for y right here, we're going to get that y is equal to negative 0.008 times, in parentheses, 90 minus 50 squared plus 35. Okay, so then simplifying this further, we get that y is equal to negative 0.008 times, in parentheses, 90 minus 50 is equal to 40. So we get 40 squared right there plus 35. So then we get that y is equal to, well, let's see, 40 squared is equal to 1600, and then 1600 times negative 0.008 is equal to, looks like 12.8, all right? And then we have plus 35 at the end right there, all right? So y is equal to 12.8, or sorry, 40 squared is equal to 1600, and then 1600 times negative 0.008 is equal to negative 12.8, right? Positive times a negative is a negative. So then we get negative 12.8 plus 35, and then that's equal to 22.2, all right? So then that means y over here is equal to 22.2. So then the distance from here up to where your friend got hit in the head, this distance is 22.2 feet. Okay, so maybe your friend over here is standing on a little hill, okay, and then the distance from here to where they got hit in the head is 22 feet, or your friend is tall as hell. They are a giant, which in that case, your aim is not as impressive as I thought, because that would be way easier to hit someone who is over 20 feet tall. So if you found the video helpful, definitely leave a thumbs up down below. And if you have any other questions or want to see any other examples, just let me know in the comment section below.